Yeah, start with maybe an injury update on JP and Yamar.
Of course, all the people who watch training every day know what's going on with JP. Even I read that. Yeah, he's inside again today because he's not going to Philly. And Steph's not out here either. We just made the decision. We're just going to shut him down, and we'll reassess next week. Same with Albert. Again, look, we're a couple games into the season. I don't want to rush him back if it's a long term. Maybe we're a little gun shy with some injury stuff, so we want to make sure when we get the athletes back, they're going to be 110%.
Is the expectation that any of those guys will be back next week, or is it still like?
Yeah, I think Steph's good, Albert's good. JP with a chronic hip, that's something that's I can't tell you that. I don't have a crystal ball, but the other two guys should be back.
And then Yamar has been out here all week. Is he basically?
He's available for minutes. If I won't hesitate to use him if I need him in Philly.
But it sounds like you're pretty comfortable with Javi and Jackson as starters.
You're asking me my starting lineup, Jeremiah. I'm comfortable with all three of those players starting.
And then Nathan is still out, right?
He is in Brazil, but he had all of his stuff done. He's waiting for his paperwork. Once he collects his paperwork, he'll be back.
So, going from the LAFC game a couple weeks ago, where you had a similar group of guys who were out, what did you see from that game that you need to improve on here against Philadelphia?
Well, it's the same at home. We need to score, and I don't know if you can't pin it all down on just the injuries. I mean, the guys that were out there created some chances, and we just need to make plays. So, possession was good against LAFC. Possession was good against Austin. Primus' zone entries, all of those little stats that everybody likes to look at, were all pretty good. But at the end of the day, inside that penalty box, it's life or death, and we need to start scoring goals.
Brian, what is that disconnect? We're hearing, hey, the buildup is good. When we get to the final third, we got him. Is it the recognition in there, or is it just
there's a play? Look, there's a play in the game that might answer your question. You can go back to it when there's a cross ball that comes across and Jordan gets it and he plays it back to Obed Vargas, and Obed Vargas is going to shoot all day long because he's 8 yards from goal or 10 yards from goal, but Raul Ruidiaz is right next to him, and everybody's going to block the shots. And my point is, Austin, the one thing they did well was they had a bunch of numbers in the box, and it was life or death, and they laid themselves out to try and block shots. How many block shots did they have inside the box? And so if Obed has a little bit more awareness, does he slot the ball to Raul, and then Raul can tap it in? Those are one idea of what's missing. Maybe making a better decision in those critical moments. But overall, guys just have to, Jackson on that set piece, Jordan had the header, Raul was this close. We're close. We're not that far away.
How much of those problems are due to the fact that maybe a lot of the stuff that were worked on in the preseason, you're kind of going away from because of the new formation, some of the new people on the field, and those partnerships that maybe weren't there?
I'm not so sure that we went away from tactics. What I would say is that, getting De La Vega introduced into the team, that slowed us down a little bit because Pedro was new. He wasn't here last year. There were certain things, and he didn't have a full preseason. But other than that, everybody's been together. They know the game.
But kind of going off of the fact that you've been having to use the 4-4-2 so often, that wasn't really worked on.
So you're digging into Raul and his. Raul's done a good job of being a team guy, and he knows Jordan's up here, and he's kind of tried to fill what Albert does, but with his own take on things. He's goal dangerous. He'll get in the box. Albert's, more assist guy. Scored some goals from top of the box. But Raul's best chance came when he was inside the box. He sniffs those opportunities out. I don't think that's a negative.
How much of Raul's game has this year represented a sort of evolution of what he like? Is it just that he's been asked to do different things, or is there actually an evolution going on in his game where because it used to be, he's a guy who touched the ball 15 times in a game, but they were all dangerous touches.
Yeah. What I would say to that is it's probably twofold. I remember Raul, even in his prime when he came here, would help us in the build out when we're back here. He'd always check off the back line, help us, spring Jordan and get our possessions. But yes, he was always lethal inside the box. And now when I take him kind of out of that front number 9 role, it changes a little bit. Does he get the same touches that he has as a number 9? No. Okay. But I think it will suit his ability because he's a smart soccer player. So when we get the ball down the prime assist zones on both sides, he knows Jordan's going to be in front of him. He knows Jordan's usually going to make that run to the near post, or somebody's going to make a run to the near post. And he can pick and choose where he wants to end up in his spots. And it might get him a few more looks.
When Raul's making that run, how important then is it for Vargas or Latencio to take that space that he...
Absolutely. Great question, because it's one guy always at the near post, one guy at the far post. Alex Roldan coming from there, Raul inside at the penalty spot, another guy top of the box. I mean, we need 4 or 5 guys in the box for sure.
Now that you're a little bit deeper into the week now, what have your impressions been of Philadelphia in prep and what they did in CONCACAF?
Well, we don't know what team they're going to play. I mean, it's Tuesday, Saturday, but then they got Tuesday. And Pachuca was a good game. I'm sure that Jim's going to mix the lineup. He has to. You can't go Saturday, Tuesday in an important competition like that. So they had a good result in Sporting KC when they kind of did the same thing. So I'm sure he has confidence in his young group.
What do you need to watch out for on their team? Depending on if they start or not, just who stands out when you watch their first few games?
Well, again, it's hard to answer, Jackson, because look, Carranza and Bure are good, and they've got, I like Martinez, the holding midfielder. Their goalkeeping's good, but who knows if all those guys are going to play.
They've been a very consistent team at home. I mean, they haven't lost in 5 games. But
you're talking about this year.
Yeah, but you're on the road, so we're gonna kind of flip it around. But yeah, they've been consistent, Brian, just in terms of they haven't lost 5 in their 11 games.
Well, good for them. Good. Jim's a good coach.
That's an experienced midfield. Yours is a little bit on the younger side. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? How do you go with that?
I view it as a potential thing. I mean, Josh and Obed are coming into their own. The more they play together, the better they look. You can look at it from, parts of last year when we had Danny and Josh and Obed and and Dan. I mean, we got 3 young midfielders that are really good, and they're going to have to carry some of that load. There's certain moments where, maybe they need a little more seasoning, but so far they've been doing great.
Along those lines, you mentioned the fact that you want to maybe be a little bit more aggressive with those substitutions, that bench, the guys that are kind of coming up. Were you giving them a closer look maybe this week? Danny Leyva.
We'll see how the game turns out. I mean, look, the game against Austin, you could make the argument, you needed fresh legs, but I mean, we were in their final third almost the whole game. And I don't know if fresh legs would have been the absolute answer, but yes, we are, because it's on the road and the game might be a little tighter. For sure, we're going to think about that stuff.
Danny Leyva is a guy whose passing abilities is probably his big forte. You see someone that maybe you could use to unlock some of those times where you get guys.
But our problem, again, hasn't been unlocking teams from back here. I need guys that can do things up here. Danny's great about establishing possession, extending our possessions, picking the right passes. And when he did, look, to be fair to him, when he gets higher up the field, I mean, he can find a pass. So I know where you're going with that.
Josh Atencio said it'd be fun to watch him as a 10 at one point. Is that something that sounds like a fun thing?
He wants to play as a 10?
No. Watching Danny at the 10, it'd be fun.
Well, Josh likes it. Maybe I'll consider it.
Was that the intentionality in this last drill that we saw, just in terms of you had somebody crossing the ball and the 2 guys in there and just making a decisive
That's just for goal scoring mentality, right, Maz. Yeah.
Did you implement any other drill this week that's similar
all week,
to that?
We were talking about good attacking sequences all week.